first collaboration between the Envision Conservatory for the Humanities and the Dance Conservatory. The genesis of the question was why? Why is there movement in theology? And when we started this conservatory, and one of the subtitles of this event is actually a symposium. If you look about what a symposium is, it's a time for us to sit down, relax, and it's actually supposed to be music, laughter, and dance. And that's what we're going to see here today. When it comes down to what the theology is actually teaching us, and my students actually did the research, and then they came to the dancers, and they instructed the dancers, inspired the dancers, and the dancers' choreography, what they did, this is their inspiration. And they found a common theme, and I think you'll find that common theme tonight. And if you haven't figured it out, it might make more sense tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be the fact that Zach got engaged. And if it's not that, and honestly, I was thinking about it. It's actually the 20th anniversary of my engagement to my wife too. So, welcome and enjoy.
Many. More numerous still are its distinctive marks, divine and innumerable are its properties. Yet it is one in nature, wholly beyond utterance, whether on part of angels or men or any other creatures, even such as are unknown to us. Reason cannot comprehend it. Its glory is inaccessible, its counsels unsearchable. It is eternal because it is beyond time, invisible because thought cannot comprehend it, though it may perceive it. Many are the beauties of this holy scion not made with hands. Saint Simeon, the New Theologian.
Ini Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Corinthians 13, 4-8.
found in 18th century England that branches off mainstream Protestantism. The various religious communities, whether Shaker, Quaker, or other, were manifestations of a spiritual, internal, and communally driven process which was fostered by the innovative conditions of the New World. Shaker values, derived off Puritan virtue, were based off the teaching of Anne Lee and eventually spread across colonial America. Anne Lee's followers testified that she had many spiritual gifts, including visions, prophecies, healing hands, and even the power of God in her touch. Simplicity was one of the most pervasive of Shaker virtues. In their travel towards perfection, the conduct of believers, particularly in the process of worship, were invested with a primitive and almost childlike innocence. Their dance was used as a form of religious worship, thought of as a more pure form of communication with God. Repetitive hand movements in a downward shaking motion signify the light directed by God entering the soul as a form of a purification of the body. When they met together for their worship, they fell to the ground trembling and used their body to stress the ideas of simple communication with God. Repetitive movements in their dance define an incredibly important aspect of this worship. It symbolized the message of beauty and the consistency of worship. Simplistic body movements with intense phases of fast motion signified the message of love for their God and their devotion to their religion. Thank you.
The one who loves all intensely begins perceiving in all living beings a part of himself. He becomes a lover of all, a part and parcel of the universal joy. He flows with the stream of happiness and is enriched by each soul. Yajurveda.
This is love, to fly heavenward, to rend every instant 100 veils. The first moment to renounce life, the last step to fare without feet, to regard this world as invisible, not to see what appears to oneself. All the love, romances, and allegories of Sufi poetry, the tales of Layla and Majnun, Yusuf and Zuleika, Solomon and Absalom, the moth and the candle, the night.
multifaceted features of the dance, the Sebazin encompasses a journey, one that takes heed to the primal needs of the mind, the heart, and the body. The mind is tended to through the means of cultivating the knowledge and experience acquired throughout life and applying it to all aspects of the dance, as seen through the self-reflection required to become in tune with the universe. The body is utilized for its ability to convey the devotion sought through the mind and heart in a way that is visible and melts with the universe. This is achieved through the revolutions performed by the body. Revolving from right to left around the heart, the Sebazin embraces all humanity with love, and by doing so, attempts to experience Kamal, or divine perfection. The human being has been created with love in order to love. Rumi, the 13th century Sufi poet known for his great verses on love, says, "All love are a bridge to divine love, yet those who have not had a taste of it do not know. This dance is their taste. This dance is their divine love."
You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Isaiah 55:12.
From bar mitzvahs to weddings, we come together and dance our traditional dance with pride and enthusiasm. While the dance dates back to Greece in the 5th century BCE, the first Jewish revival of the dance occurred in the Balkans and Eastern Europe in the early 19th century. It was first danced in Israel in the 1920s. The Hora became associated with Judaism in the 19th century, when Ashkenazi Jews in Eastern Europe and the Balkans danced the Hora as a way of maintaining their cultural identity amongst the violence and persecution at the hands of their home countries. The dance is very simple and is often danced by entire communities of Jewish people. The most recognizable aspect of the dance is the chairlifting of the person or persons being celebrated. This tradition has endured throughout the years due to the fact that it's a mitzvah in Judaism to add joy to whomever is being celebrated on their important day. Even though the Hora dates back thousands of years, all the way to ancient Greece, the modern adaptation of the dance has had a profound influence on connecting the culturally diverse and geographically divided Jewish people. While the Hora may affectionately be referred to as the dance of the Jewish people, it seems almost unfair to mention the Hora without discussing its traditional musical accompaniment, the Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila translates directly to "Let Us Rejoice," and the song's upbeat, remaining folk origin complements the Hora's festive vibe. If we were to walk a few miles down the road to Beth Am Temple on any day of Jewish celebration, we would find an entire congregation of Jews dancing the Hora and having a great time. Even in the ultra-Orthodox sect of Judaism, the community comes together and dances the Hora. The dance is universal. The steps are as simple as they are enjoyable. While the Hora and its traditional accompaniment, the Hava Nagila, have come to define Jewish identity, the dance is a symbol of the community and is open for all. Thank you.
For those without feet, I have love. I have love for all with 2 feet. For those with 4 feet, I have love. I have love for all with many feet. May those with feet do me no harm. May none with 2 feet do me harm. May those with 4 feet do me no harm. May all beings, all living things, all who've come to be, one and all, may they see every blessing. May no evil at all come to them. Without limit is Buddha. Without limit is Dhamma. Without limit is Sangha. A wish of loving kindness taught by the Buddha in the Vinaya.
The dance theology stems from Mahayana Buddhist lore, which took hold in East Asia during China's Han Dynasty in the 1st century AD, and later in Japan during the Asuka period in the 6th century. Chinese choreographer Zhang Zhigeng created the dance in the early 2000s. After a recorded performance at the 2005 Chinese Spring Festival in Viral, the dance became a source of national pride for the Chinese. Today, the videos of the original 21 hearing-impaired dancers and their incredible testament to movement have been viewed online hundreds of millions of times all around the world. Although the dance, aptly named the Thousand-Hand Bodhisattva, isn't ages old itself, it accurately reflects one of the most fascinating stories in Mahayana Buddhist culture, the story of Guanyin. In the eyes of many East Asian Buddhist practitioners, Guanyin is viewed as the Bodhisattva of compassion. A Bodhisattva is an enlightened being who postpones their own enlightenment until all Buddhists are freed from their samsara, or reincarnation. A Bodhisattva is essentially a saint. Guanyin struggled to understand the desires of so many unfulfilled Buddhists still around the world. Now, desire plays an important role in Buddhism, as Buddhist doctrine dictates that desire is one of the roots of suffering. Simply unable to understand, Guanyin's head shattered into pieces. Amitabha, one of the celestial Buddhas, or gods, in the Mahayana school of thought, took pity on Guanyin and consequently granted her 11 heads. Now, Guanyin was able to understand the struggling, but her feeble arms couldn't reach out. Her arms then split into pieces, and Amitabha, again having compassion, granted her 1,000 arms. With her many arms, Guanyin is able to reach out and offer aid to those in need. One of the most important aspects of the dance is that every hand has an eye on it. As a result, Guanyin is able to see in every direction simultaneously, allowing her to find those seeking comfort. In this regard, Guanyin solidifies her role as the all-seeing, comforting mother in Mahayana Buddhism.
Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires.
For love is as strong as death, its jealousy unyielding as the grave.
It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame.
Many waters cannot quench love, rivers cannot wash it away.
If one were to give all the wealth of his house for love, it would be utterly scorned. Song of Solomon 8:4-8.
Sephardic Jews in Spain practice a far more passionate and romantic style of dance and music, flamenco. Sephardic Jews are the Jews of Spain, Portugal, North Africa, and the Middle East. A unique characteristic of Sephardic Judaism is loud and passionate prayer inside their synagogues, with undercuts of sadness, which was reflected in early flamenco dance and music. While this style of dance and music has its origins in Andalusian folk music and other traditional facets of Spanish culture, Spanish Jews undoubtedly left their influence on flamenco. The word flamenco, derived from the Spanish word for Flemish, many argue this is due to the music of the Jews who escaped to Flanders, or modern-day Belgium, in order to escape persecution. The Jewish influence is most evident in the lyrics of certain genres of flamenco music, which reflect the persecution of the Jews during the Spanish Inquisition and the subsequent persecution they experienced. Flamenco served as an outlet for the Marranos, or secret Jews, to disguise their despair and express their emotion through music and dance. Unfortunately for the Jewish people, the Inquisition was not limited to Europe. It also spread to Spanish and Portuguese colonies in the New World and Asia. Many Jews and conversos, or converted Jews, fled from Portugal and Spain to the New World, seeking greater security and economic opportunities. Just as the Jews had done in the diaspora of the 1st century AD, they were on the run, looking for a new home and spreading their musical and rhythmic influences all across the world. The fact that flamenco music and dance contrasts so greatly with the traditional horror dance and klezmer music of most European Jews reflects the vast and diverse cultural influences of the Jewish people. Whether horror or flamenco, there are certain common themes that seem to resonate in all Jewish dance. Certain movements, such as walking in procession and other less utilitarian movements, occur very commonly in Jewish dance. In Jewish synagogues, song leaders are called cantors, while in flamenco music, singers are called cantoras. The word haleo, which refers to the art of hand clapping and shouts of encouragement, characteristic of flamenco, comes from the Hebrew word hallel, which means to encourage or praise. Cante flamenco, which is often the most passionate component of the flamenco performance, echoes the loud and passionate liturgy of Sephardic Jews. Though persecuted and discriminated against, the Sephardic Jews of Europe left their legacy in flamenco music and dance. Thank you.
The upcoming piece is inspired by the culture of Polynesian religions. Specifically, our dance stems from Hawaiian hula. However, a true hula dance is performed with the blessing of a priestess and must be done with certain rituals before and after. As we cannot carry out these acts tonight, our choreographer has created her own story out of respect for the practice, drawing ideas from traditional hulas, which often tell tales of the gods and goddesses of nature. Our dance does not display a spiritual love. It instead talks of a love of nature, and especially for the ocean and for the beach. The singer and songwriter, Edith Kampuale, describes the sea breeze, the sunshine, the plants, and the rocks. She sings of the lapoa, or seaweed. The song, titled Ka Uluwehi O Kekai, or translated to English, Plants of the Sea, speaks of a deep respect for nature. It says, "The shiny white sand, hot from the heating sun as you step on it. Don't think that this is fun." However, keeping in mind the respect the ocean calls for, it is also said to be, "Such a delight to see, the great big ocean, so familiar and very cherished." Like nature, love demands respect in any case of the sentiment. Whether it be romantic, familial, platonic, or spiritual, love is an emotion that connotes acceptance and coexistence. Just as humans exist with the earth, learning from and hopefully supporting it as it has supported us, we can interact with each other in the same way. We would like to close our show with this piece to demonstrate the harmony humans have sought with the world around them since the beginning of time, and with the hope that you have all been impacted by each and every piece performed here tonight. Because no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we may believe, love is love, and we are similar in so many ways. We are capable of existing together on this earth, and as we respect nature, we must also learn to respect our fellow human beings.
Miki Allah.